Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Syntax Adda. My name is Ravi Ranjan and this is the continuation of our last video builder design pattern. We all saw how builder design pattern helps us in creating a complex object, right? Now let's see how we can use builder design pattern to create the object of database config, right? Even if we don't pass all the required parameters. Okay, so we can still create the object of that database configuration, and that's the main purpose of builder design pattern also, right? We want to create the object without or we sometimes we don't know all the fields of that class, right? We can't pass all the value, right, to instantiate that class. So in that case, if you know, even if we know the few fields that can be passed, right, we are still able to create the object, right? So let's see this in example. Okay, so we'll create one Java class in the package. Let's say com dot syntax Adda. Name this as a builder design pattern. This is my package, and I'm going to create one uh, database config. Okay, so this is the class. Okay, so this class, let's say, have different fields. Let's say private string. Okay, it has let's say host, private string, port, private string username, private string password, right? Then private string database name, right? So these are the properties of this class database config. Now let's create, we'll create the uh, getter of all these fields in this class. So we'll create the getter. I'll select all fields. Okay, and I'm also going to add toString method here so that we can print, we can just see the output, right? So we'll see generate toString, and I will select all these fields, and this will print the database configuration. Okay, now I want to create the object of this class with the help of some builder class. Okay, so builder design pattern will help you to create the database config object even if you are passing few fields, right? So let's have, right, private database config, and this time instead of passing all the fields from here, we'll have one builder class which we'll need to create now. Okay, we'll create one builder class with the same properties as of this database config. We'll come back to this constructor once we create this builder class. So let's create this builder class. I'll just copy this fields. Okay, I will have to make this public in this. So let's create one builder class here. Okay, this class should have the same field as that of database config. I'll make it this public. Okay, there is a reason for making this public. We'll see this. Okay, and every time we will in this class, every time we are instance, if we want to instantiate this builder with some value, we should always be returning builder class. Okay, so let's create that one, public builder, let's say host, and I'm passing it, let's say string host, right? Then this should, so this dot host should be equal to host, and we should always be returning the object of this builder class. So we can say return this is what here we are seeing. This one means this class with which will have the value with this host, right? Similarly, we'll create for other fields also. So builder, I will say port, right? And let's pass host here, sorry, port here, and then I will say this dot port equal to port, right? And return this. So builder class, builder class, that's the main purpose. You can pass, one or two, three, four, or five, all the fields. In all the scenario, it will give the instance of this builder class. Okay. Now let's create another one, builder, and let's say we will be passing username, right? I'll say string, the username, and then I'll say this dot username equal to username. Okay, and I am going to return this. Then we'll have public builder, and this time password, right? Password. So this will accept password string, password, right? And we'll see this dot password is equal to password, right? And return this. Last, we have public builder, right? And this is having database database name, sorry, database name, and we'll pass string database name. This dot database name is equal to database name, return this. Okay, and finally, what I'm going to do, this database, this builder class will return me the, once we'll call the build. Let's say we have one build method here. Okay, so we'll have the build, right? But it is going to return me database config class. So I will say database config class, and this is going to return me what? Return new database config, and I'm going to pass this builder instance. Okay, now it is expecting. So what I'm calling it here, I'm calling the, a constructor of this database, which we have not defined yet, right? And I'm expecting this database, constructor accept builder class. So now let's go back to database, and now here we have the builder, right? Initialize this, all this field. So I will say this dot host is equal to builder dot host, right? I'll say this dot port is equal to builder dot port, right? You can say this dot username equal to builder dot username, right? You can say this dot password equal to builder dot password, right? You can have this dot, this dot database name is equal to builder dot database name. Okay, so we have, this, let me make this public. Okay, now this is fine. Okay, so what I'm trying to do, so when any, like, let's say if client is trying to create the database config object, then with the help of builder class, we will be able to create the database config object. Why? Because this class will have the flexibility to take, or accept one or more argument. So even if you are passing, one argument, it is going to give you the object of this class, or even if you are passing all the argument, in that case also it is going to give you all the it is going to give you the database config object. Now let's check this in at the client level. So client means we are going to create a main class, right? And we'll have public static void main. Okay, so here what I'm going to do, first let's create the object of builder class. Okay, builder, I'll say new builder, right? And what fields you want, like let's say I know host, so let's say local host, that's fine. If you know, let's arrange this so that dot host. Now what else you want? Let's say you also want to build with the help of, let's say, username, and give username admin or anything, right? Next, let's say password, let's give the password as a password. Okay, and that's fine. Like you can still be able to create the database config object with these parameters. Okay, now I want to create the database config object. I'll say config, and then what I will do, I'll say builder dot build. Why I'm calling this builder dot build? If you'll see in database config, sorry, in builder, if you'll see in builder, we have this build method which is going to return the database config, right? And now let's go to main. right? So we are trying to get the config object with the help of builder. Now let's print and see. System dot out dot println, and I'm going to just print the toString. I'm going to call the toString method which we defined at the class level. So you remember, right? We had this toString method here so that we can print the value. Okay, now let's go back and see toString. Okay, now let's run and see what's the output. Now you are able to see we are able to create, database config object even by passing few fields we don't know, right? So we are passing, host, username, password, etc. Right? So you understood this part. Let's say if I don't want, if I'm not passing anything, still we will be able to create the object with all null value, right? So this is the flexibility we get when we, write the program using the design builder design pattern, right? So hope this is clear to you. If you like my video, please share it with your friends, and please don't forget to subscribe my channel for any latest video. Thank you so much.